Hello, my name is Crystal Jones, and my most recent teaching experience right now is learning strategies at Hickey Elementary for grades K through fifth grade. My previous teaching experience was in second grade and in fourth grade classrooms. I had big aspirations for my fourth grade students in my classroom. It was very important that they became leaders and advocates for their education in the classroom. This was very important to me because it's important that our students dream big and they believe that they can do whatever they want to do. It does not matter where they are from, what neighborhood they are being raised in. What matters the most is that they have the educational opportunities that's available to them at school, that they have equal educational opportunities, and they have a committed and caring educator to inspire them in the classroom. I think that my students were very successful in walking away with being leaders and advocates for their own learning. It's important that a teacher become a facilitator for the learning in the classroom, and I was able to be successful in just that. My students went from me directing their moves and directing their conversations and discussing their things to me just only being the facilitator of those questions. It's my responsibility to facilitate their big dreams, to inspire their big dreams, and to encourage and empower them that they can be whatever they want to be. This was successful through their letters of self at the end of the year. My students were able to dream big, acknowledging their college dreams, acknowledging what they wanted to be when growing up, but I had the opportunity to watch them as fifth graders apply to the different Magnum programs in the Clark County School District and get accepted. Them running up to me with their acceptance papers would measure the success of them being advocates and leaders of their learning. There were many measurable goals that we set for the classroom, but it was very important that I set academic goals for my students. Coming to Hickey Elementary, we were a two-star school, which means our academics, where our students was not performing at a meet or exceeding at a proficient rate in the school district, and also they were used to teachers that directed what they learned instead of them producing their creativity in the classroom. So the goals I was set for them was 85% of my students will be successful in ELA and math, weekly assessments, daily exit tickets, and more important, their state exams, which was the CRT for this year. We became successful in our daily tickets, exit tickets, where 85% of us were successful, and our weekly assessments, where 85% of my students were successful as on those as well. On the goals for the CRT was 81% of them were successful in reading, and 80% of them were successful in math. So we fell a little short of that, but I'm very proud of them. They did their best. They promoted their learning in the classroom, and they were able to show what they learned at the end of the year. My students ultimately did reach the goals that they set, and with those CRT scores were the way that we measured those goals, and I was very, very proud of them. We decided on those goals again just based on the data from the previous year and as a fourth grade team, what we wanted to see in our students. Now, the planning process in my classroom ranged from many different things, but more importantly, the data was the driving force. I'm a very big believer in data because data drives the instruction and the planning piece in my classroom. I was able to analyze data daily for daily assessments, weekly for weekly assessments, to teach the standards that are taught in my classroom. It's very important that as teachers, we teach standards because students are tested on those standards, and it's important that they master those standards each year. The planning process in my classroom included, first of all, um, analyzing the data. Next, from that data, as a teacher, I reflected on what was important in that content or that skill area. Meaning, did my students meet those goals? Did they fall a little short of those goals? Or or does the class need some enrichment on the goals, on the skill that was taught in those classrooms? Based on the data, I was able to see if I needed to reteach that, and that's what I did at the beginning of each lesson. Went over a short review, making sure that my kids understood the big goal of the content area. After that, our planning process included me making sure that I differentiated the instruction for the students in my classroom. I provided hands-on activities, and also that students were able to show me their learning in their different ways in the classroom, because all our students can learn. We just learn at different ways. We learn in different ways and at different times. There are many ways that I track their progress in my classroom, and tracking progress in my classroom is very much a teamwork goal. We're shared between myself and the students. I track my goal through my day. I track their progress through daily spreadsheets and daily data analysis through the things that I've said in the classroom. Data analysis includes me marking, are they approaching the standards? Are they meeting the standards? Or are my kids emerging on those standards? And we mark those with different colors just so that we can see where my classroom was at the time. My students also track their daily goals and their progress themselves with their student data folders. I met with them during many conferences throughout the day to ensure that their data folders were up to date, that they were able to bubble in or write their data or bar graph their data of what they received through daily assessments, through benchmark assessments, and more importantly, their weekly assessments as well. The most important thing about student data folders is that students are able to tell you where they are, where they need to be, and how they need to get there. Their goals are getting there, and them expressing that to you is very important. We also had a classroom data board because, again, 85% of my students were responsible for mastering the standards. So every day we were able to see where we were each week, or through our daily assessments, did we meet 85% of my goals? And sometimes they'll be like, yay, or they'll be like, no. But when it was a no, we were able to sit down, and I was able to facilitate a discussion on what we needed to do to meet our goal, how we were going to meet our goal. But more importantly, my students were able to motivate each other and inspire each other to be successful in the classroom. How there were many ways that I ensured that assessments were rigorous and aligned to our goals and plans in the classroom, because our goals was to ensure that all students were successful in our classroom. Our goals and our plans were ensure that our students were advocates and leaders for success, so that for their own success in the classroom. So coming up with rigorous assessments led to those goals. That proved that students were able to be critical thinkers and apply their knowledge to those assessments. That in fourth grade, it started as a team. We sat down together, we analyzed data, and we came up with common assessments to meet the needs of our students. Those common assessments included that our students that our students were able to that our students were able to design, produce, and create things that was necessary to show what they learned in the classroom. Those in-depth knowledge skills in our classroom were very competent in the way we did things. They were very competent in the way that we taught the skill to our students. So our so our things were able to our students were able to be successful in the classroom. Um, So figuring out how to do a rigorous assessment came from the tools and resources that Curriculum Engine had for us. And that's designing common assessments, that's providing resources and materials to be in-depth knowledge, and our students creating, producing, and analyzing their knowledge in the classroom. Um, my biggest reflections this year was definitely had to do with the involvement of parents in the community. I feel that I could have improved in this area. I believe that it's very important for all stakeholders to be involved in the success of our students. I believe that parents should be equipped with the knowledge or should be provided with the things that they need at home to ensure that their students are successful with these upcoming changes in our curriculum and our instruction throughout the years. And I also believe that our community leaders in the East Side should also be doing their part. They should be being they should be knowledgeable and aware of what our students are going through, and they should be aware of what our students need to be successful. And me as a teacher, I feel it's my responsibility to get out there, make them aware, and 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 be sure that they are providing our students with the things they need to be productive citizens, leaders, and advocates for their education. Last but not least, I engaged in the community in many ways. Um, and one those ways this the previous year became, I was so excited about this, became for joining the Change Collective and Teach for America. In the Change Collective, it's all about change. It's all about what can you do to change the things that you know that needs improvement in your community. And one of my community changements was my improvement, and that was making sure that our parents in our community is knowledgeable of the things that our students need to be successful. I was able to meet with community leaders. I was able to build a panel for our students and our parents to engage in questions to ensure that our community leaders are fighting for our students, to ensure that our communities are aware of the materials that we are lacking. Our community are aware that the instruction is changing in our classroom, and we must differentiate for our students. We must provide for our students, but overall, it's our responsibility as educational leaders to give those students the opportunity and the educational opportunity that they deserve to be successful in this community, and more importantly, bring it back to the community. Last but not least, there were some groundbreaking things that I accomplished at Hickey Elementary this year. That included me building a K through 12 initiative. The K through 12 initiative involved bringing high school students from Sunrise Mountain High School to Hickey Elementary to partner with teachers as they wanted to be inspiring teachers themselves. Those teachers coached those students, they worked with them, they partnered with them, and more importantly, those students were able to see real-time teaching in their own community. How important is that? To shape and mold the community leaders that you have already in your community to go be professional advocates for their education and bring it back to the community so our community can grow and inspire. Thank you for listening.